All right, once again, a very good morning and welcome to our Legal Tuesday today, a place where we give you an insight of various legal matters. And today we are here to be able to give you something very new regarding to a topic we are going to introduce in a short while. Welcome to the Legal Tuesday today. My name is Paul Kagi. Together, as you can see, as usual, I have my colleague Mangichu Mola, who is here with us to be able to help each other to put more perspective and to go deeper on the issue of SACCOs. If there is anything that you want to know about SACCOs, today that is our topic, and we have a SACCO and cooperative consultant, Madam Lois Medhu, who is together with us in the studio to help us to understand more about SACCOs and maybe to answer some of the common questions that are pertaining to SACCOs. If you have a question, you are free to text on 23814, or you can also text via our WhatsApp number 0721105105. We have our usual SMS number 23814, or also you can also be able to text via WhatsApp number 0721105105. Our topic today is on SACCOs, and the question we are asking you, what SACCO laws you need be amended? What SACCO laws you need to be amended? You can give your suggestions on 23814 or 0721105105. Before we go too far, Mangichu Mola, I think you can see the topic about SACCOs.
Absolutely, Kagi. Yeah, very good morning, and also a very warm welcome to our viewer this morning as we look at this particular area on our Legal Tuesday. It's quite interesting topic, Kagi, because I know majority of Kenyans in one way or another are affiliated maybe to one or two SACCOs, and maybe they would want to find more information regarding how maybe they are regulated, the laws pertaining to them, what they need to know, what are some of their rights when they are in these SACCOs, and maybe what they need to do when maybe they feel some of those rights are violated. So I think this is really going to be a very nice eye-opener, very enlightening and very candid, and I also look forward to some of the insights that you're going to get from our guests, the consultants on this particular area.
Yes, and very true, Mangichu, because if you could have done your research, you understand and see that some years back, many people were saving their money in the banks and they didn't know about the SACCOs. But today, slowly, many people are shifting from the main financial institutions to the SACCOs, right from the grassroots even to the maybe national level. There are those SACCOs which are only in certain regions, and there are those ones which are in the national level. And we are in the era of maybe embracing the SACCOs as financial institutions. And therefore, is a right time to be able to discuss this matter, to see what need to be done, what need to be done, what you need to know, and how you need to handle yourself when you're handling a SACCO. Once again, to remind you that we are asking you, what SACCO laws do you feel need to be amended? What SACCO laws do you feel need to be amended? Our SMS number 23814 or 0721105105. And as usual, we have a short skit on the same. Before we go there, just to introduce our guest to know who she is, and then we are going to watch the following skit regarding to our topic on SACCO. Welcome, Madam Lois Medhu, to our program this morning. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you, morning.
Most welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Lois Medhu. I'm a retired officer from Cooperative Movement, and I'm happy and humbled to be here.
Yes.
Thank you.
And of course, if you are a retired officer,
yes,
you know that you are carrying a wealth of experience.
She must have seen a lot.
Yes, a lot in financial institutions.
Yeah, of course.
And because we are in an era whereby people now are embracing to save money in banks and institutions and other areas.
Yes.
You know, there before people were scared saving their money in financial institutions. But because now they are slowly embracing this system, I think when you are here, they are going to get a very positive feedback from you, and also a very right counsel regarding to the money matters.
Yes,
Karibu sana.
you. Asante sana.
Right.
Yes.
And at this juncture, we want to welcome a short skit on SACCOs. Watch this.
Sana.
Habari siku mingi.
Salama.
Eh.
Niwazie nini? hatuna hiyo biashara. Biashara tumekuja ni tofauti.
Gani?
Unajua ni ile ingine.
Na kama una mrembo pia unaweza chukulia kuna braids hapa na dresses.
Hiyo hatuna hiyo.
Hata tops za men. Kuna zingine hapa.
Madam, unataka kusema kabisa hujatufahamu bado?
Simujielezee. Simu umekuja kama customer ama who are you people?
Au tujui kabisa?
Hapana.
Mbona ushiki simu zetu?
Simu napigiwa kwa mingi. Okay, naweza kuwa niko busy, zingine sirudishi. Poleni kama sijarudisha, basi simu nielezeni nini akina nani. At least nijue na dili na nani. Sababu sasa mmekataa kuuziwa, who are you? Na tena hii ni kazi yangu, mnakuja hapa kunisimamia hapa nini?
Wewe haushiki simu zetu.
Mimi nani? Kwanza kadi zenyu za kazi ziko wapi? Na niambia hapa maafisa.
Au tujui?
Ziko wapi kadi za kazi?
Ujui?
Enyewe mnanitupia wakati wangu.
Lakini anajifanya. Si anajua sisi tumetoka wapi? Unaona? Madam. So ulikuja kwa kampuni yetu. Uwezekano pana?
Nilikuja sako. I'm a member.
Sheria ulipewa?
Hata loan mlinipea.
Ukasaini wewe mwenyewe?
Vizuri sana.
Pesa yetu shida ni gani?
Kabisa hakuna shida. Ile kitu iko ni kweli mlinipea pesa. Na nimefanyia kile nilikuwa nafanyia. Si mnaona biashara imejaa vitu.
Sisi tumekujia pesa.
Haina wasiwasi, pesa nitawapatia kwani na hama.
Tunataka leo. That's why tumejileta.
Hapa mimi sina pesa saa hizi.
Madam, hatufanye biashara namna hiyo.
Pesa hiyo nitawapatia. Mimi sijakataa. Saa hizi hata mkimpeleka kwa polisi, baadaye tutaandikania.
Kwa hivyo twende mbele, si ndio?
Sijasema hivyo lakini mnanisukuma hapo.
Twende mbele, si ndio?
Hatuendi hapo. Kile nimewaambia, si hami. Si hata mmetrace mmejua biashara mali.
Na mbona ushiki simu au lipi?
Ile ilifanyika, kuna kitu linipata anawea. Na mimi sikuweza kurudi kwa ofisi zenyu kuexplain.
Na si uko na namba yetu madam? Hii watu nawajua. Ni wale kon.
Sasa kama umetrace mpaka hapa hivi na wakoni nini, nimewaambia nitawapea pesa yenu hata kama sio leo. Munipe muda alafu nitawarudishia.
Pesa tutapata lini?
Munipe miezi 3 nitawapea pesa yenu.
Sheria ulisoma kweli wewe?
Watoto si ndio hata wanarudi shule.
Hiyo aresa hizi uko nazo ni ngapi sasa hizi?
Miezi ngapi? Ni mingi na hiyo interest yenu hata ni juu.
Sasa ndio unajua
kupatia iko mimi nilikuwa nataka kununua stock na nimenunua. Hata mna overcharge mnafaa hata mstakiwe nyinyi.
Wacha huyu tupige tu simu.
Hata mkipiga simu nitasema tunaandikiana hata
kama ni 20 bob. Ulikuwa unaongea sauti nyororo saa hizi.
Hata kama ni 20 bob kila siku.
Saa sauti yako.
Okay. Sasa msiniletee shida, ondokeni niuzie customer.
Umetoa sauti ya
nini? Mnanifungia customer kwa nini?
Wacha tupige simu.
Kidogo tu madam.
Kidogo nini? Mnanifungia kazi.
Wacha tupige simu.
Hebu ondokeni hapo.
Mimi mama ile ikujia pesa vizuri. Sasa unaona vile inaongea.
Uliomba vizuri kama
kukuelewesha. And again, si kuomba, those are my savings.
Saizi umekuwa mkali, unataka kududuma macho
sasa. Those are my savings.
Sahi.
Nilichukua pesa yangu, si eti ni yenyu. Kwani?
Uzuri ulichukua pesa na unajua limit.
Na mimi nimekuambia ni savings zangu.
This is beyond us. Piga simu.
Hata mngekuja na ofisa kitambo, si kuanza kumpigia simu akiwa na uso.
Sawa.
Na msonge nizie kazi na mnafungia kazi. Hai.
Halo.
All right, and Mangicho, you have seen how things are happening there.
Yeah.
It's very common when you have borrowed some money and you are unable to pay. Sometimes you can find yourself in a very unfamiliar ground when the officers come to be able to check on you.
There are those who normally say it's very sweet when you're borrowing, but when it comes now to pay, becomes another issue altogether.
Yes. Madam Lois, yes. I hope you have seen the skit.
I have.
What can you pick from there?
I've picked like, okay, I didn't understand properly that kind of vasako. Which type of vasako is that? And then it seems like they don't have regulations and policies ambazo they follow when they are lending. Because I didn't expect somebody from the office to come following you in the office while you understand how you are supposed to, when you get the credit, how am I supposed to service the same?
Yeah.
And therefore, That is one thing I didn't find there. It's like the member who is now the borrower. It's like has no information about how she should borrow and how to pay. Yes, and when. Yes.
And did you find any fault with the SACCO officers?
Yes,
the way they
I
handle the client?
Of course. Yes, because you cannot come from a SACCO, you go harassing your customer. The member has also his or her own rights. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, maybe I have found you mentioning that you didn't understand what kind of a SACCO is this.
Yes.
Then that one means that we have different kind of SACCOs.
Yes. Yes, they are there.
Yes.
Okay. Currently, I've seen that people form their own SACCOs, and they call them SACCOs. You also find transport SACCOs. And then we have savings and credit, whereby they are regulated by the regulator.
Yes.
Others are regulated by the Commissioner of Cooperatives.
Okay.
So when it comes to that, there are rules and laws that govern these SACCOs. And therefore, when you look at the SACCO has its own bylaws,
yes,
whereby when they are lending or when a member is joining, they have their laws that they are supposed to follow. Even when a member has to leave the SACCO, they follow what they have put down.
Yes.
There is also the act of the SACCO, whereby the Sharias acted in the parliament. They are there to run SACCOs or cooperatives, all of them.
Yes.
They also have regulations. They have the laws, the rules that are supposed to govern the SACCO. And when the SACCO is forming, coming up and having its own bylaws, the bylaws should not be inconsistent with the act of the SACCOs.
Okay.
Yes.
And what would be the difference between a SACCO and a cooperative?
A SACCO and a cooperative,
they are the same.
It's one and the same thing. The word SACCO stands for Savings and Credit Cooperative Society.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
The only difference between cooperatives, they are cooperatives for lending, saving and lending. They are housing cooperatives. They are marketing cooperatives. So they are all under the same act, but the functions are different.
And many people ask, maybe again, the difference between those SACCOs and the banks, because they feel they do the same job. So why are they given different names?
Oh, they are very different from banks, very different. Because when it comes to a SACCO, these are people who came together with the same mind and with the same problems. They want to solve their own problems. So they came together and formed the cooperative. And when they form a cooperative, they are the owners of that cooperative.
Right.
But when you go banking in a bank, their owners are different. They are different people.
Shareholders.
The shareholders in that bank, they are the ones who even end up earning the income from the same. So when a SACCO is where members borrow, that is their own SACCO and they own it. That is the difference. And you see, when you have a cooperative, especially the savings and credit, you members, you also come up with the rates of interest that members will pay.
Oh, it is the members of the SACCO who come up with those rates?
Of course. These are this is a SACCO for their own.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I thought maybe SACCOs are regulated by the government in terms of...
Yes, they do. When you come together and you want to form a SACCO, there are the requirements that you are supposed to send to the Commissioner of Cooperative, whereby you give out your objectives. Who are these? Who is your market? Your products? And then physical address, where will you be? And then you also propose names, like 3, whereby they have to check so that you don't get a name that belongs to another
SACCO.
Yes.
Wow. I think that's a very, very important area that we wanted to go, because Madam Lois, you've also said that SACCOs actually differ one from the other in terms of maybe how they constitute and how maybe they plan the operation. When you're looking at some of the very, very basic laws that we can actually say will affect all SACCOs, regardless of maybe how big they are, how small they are. Maybe they've been there for a very long time, or maybe just on the start. What are some of the basic?
Okay. We have SASRA. Do you know about SASRA? Which is a regulator for cooperatives. It came into being in year 2010. And the SACCOs that were there already, and they have banking services. We have SACCOs that have just the back office. You save, you borrow. But there are others, you save, you borrow. There is also the other element of banking section. Yes, whereby, if, for example, if I borrow my loan, it doesn't have to be paid in the bank, because that SACCO has its own section of banking. Yes. So those SACCOs that have that, they are the ones being regulated by SASRA. And they started in 2010.
Okay.
And in 2020, they also started to regulate the others that don't have banking services, but with a limited figure of capital. So if we have a SACCO that doesn't have the bank, they call it deposit taking, whereby you can deposit your money the way you do in the bank, come and withdraw it. Those are the SACCOs being regulated by SASRA.
By SASRA, okay.
Yes. So there are some thresholds where you are required to meet. The ones with the banking section, they are required to have they call them prudential minimum ratios, whereby the core capital to asset ratio of that SACCO should be at a minimum of 10 million.
10 million?
Yes. When it comes now to the SACCOs that are not having the banking, they are not deposit taking, and they are now under the regulator, they have to have a minimum of 100 million share capital. So all that, if your SACCO gets to that, straight away it has to be under SASRA for regulation. Yes, and the work of the regulator is to regulate the SACCOs, to ensure that members access their funds. When I need the loan, I should not be told there is no money and yet you are saving. Yes. So that is the work of SASRA in having good governance. And to ensure this happens, there are requirements that are required by SASRA. You give returns every 15th of every month, the following month. Online to the regulator. Yes. So if you don't meet that, then the regulator will deal with you as a SACCO.
Candy, what did you say about the ones that are not deposit taking? If you can explain again. Okay,
I was saying there before SASRA was only regulating the ones that are having the banking section.
The banking section.
Yes. But came 2020, it was, they are now regulating the others. But the others have to have a capital of 100 million. If you are there, then definitely straight away you fall under SASRA regulator. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I don't know, what would be some of the basic regulations on the lending?
Lending. When it comes to lending, is where I was talking about when the SACCO is now registered and you see you have started, the members are savings, you have to come up with a policy. We call it a lending policy.
Okay.
The SACCO itself has to come up with that lending policy, whereby you have the management of that SACCO sits and comes up with a policy. And this policy has, again, to be taken to the members so that they understand. If there is something that they feel is a bit difficult, they have a right to say, let us go this way and not this way, because this is our SACCO. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So lending policy is very important, because you cannot just lend like and you have no direction. Yes.
Yeah, because I think that is actually an area that most people would want to maybe be helped to be in a position to be able to know. For those who want maybe to ask or to get loans, what would you say are some of their rights?
I'll prefer, Mangicho, we hold that question a bit.
Yes.
We take a short break. Okay. And then when you come back, you'll be able to answer that question. Okay. But just to remind you that today we are having Madam Lois Methu, who is a SACCO and cooperative consultant, who is here with us talking about the issue of SACCO. And we are asking you one question: what SACCO laws you feel need to be amended? What SACCO laws you feel that need to be amended? You can text us on 23814 or 0721-105-105. That's the WhatsApp number, 0721-105-105. Or if you have any question regarding to SACCO, you are free to be able to text here. My name is Paul Kagi, together with Mangicho Mola. We are taking a short break. We'll be right back after this.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Mount Kenya region, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Meru, Laikipia, Murang'a, Kiambu, Nyandarua, and Nakuru. Together, we are converging a solemn assembly, 3 days of prayers to assert dominance over our region spiritually, to influence and manifest change in Mount Kenya region, economic prosperity, political stability, and regional integration. Come and let us exercise the power of collective faith at Mount Kenya Regional Territorial Dominion Prayer Conference, Nyeri County at Kamukunji Stadium, starting from Wednesday the 22nd to Friday the 24th of May 2024, every day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and climax with a Dominion Kesha on Friday from 9 p.m. at the same conference inside the mega tent. He made us rulers over his works and put everything under our feet. Psalms 8 verse 6. This conference is organized by the National Prayer Committee in conjunction with the Mount Kenya Region Gospel Ministers. It's an interdenominational prayer conference, free and open to all.
Panda shuka ni kwa kizungu?
Stand.
What?
Stand and wake.
Eh?
Stand and wake.
Kama photographer ni mtu anapiga picha na photosynthesis ni mtu mgani?
Rudia.
Photographer ni mtu anapiga picha na photosynthesis ni mtu mgani?
Bado ni photography tu.
Asiyesikia la mwadhini?
Asikia la mwadhini livunja guu. Livunja guu.
Shoot shot shot, rudia mara tatu mbio mbio.
Shoot shot shot, shoot shot shot, shoot shot shot. Shoot shot shot, shoot shot shot, shoot shot shot.
Now at El Piso.
What about wound care for chronic wounds, surgical wounds, and diabetic foot ulcers?
You better call El Piso today. We are a licensed home health care agency committed to providing quality round-the-clock care at the comfort of your home. Talk to us today for skilled nursing care, accompanying patients to doctor's appointments, physiotherapy services, counseling, psychology, and laboratory errands. We offer services in Nakuru and its environs. Call us today at 0703-696-830 or 0756-337-535. Or visit us at Nakuru CBD, Mburugichua Road, Sigma Building, 5th floor, room number 29. El Piso Home Healthcare Limited. Safety, comfort and convenience.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Yes, and welcome back to the Legal Tuesday. Today we are talking about the SACCO laws. If you have a question to us, You're free to do that on 23814 and then WhatsApp number 0721 105 105. And we are having Madam Lois Medhu, who is a SACCO and cooperative consultant, with my colleague Mangicho Mola here. And before we go again deeper to this topic, we had a chance to be able to go to the streets and pick what the public would say their views about SACCOs. And therefore, for this moment, listen and watch this.
Kusema kweli, SACCO hapa nchini Kenya imeweza kuumiza Wanakenya wengi sana, sababu unawekeza kwa SACCO na wakati nafika wakati maybe ya kusaidika, unaanza kuambiwa ulete title deed, ulete logbook, ulete guarantors, of which wakati ya mwanzo ulikuwa unaambiwa tu ingia kwa hii SACCO, ukisave 10,000 utapewa maybe 3 times of your saving. But when it comes to given a loan, inakuwa na a lot of changamoto. Jambo la pili ni kusema kwamba SACCO kunakuwa na board inachunguza SACCO na ina regulate SACCO. But of late hiyo board ni kama haina nguvu. For instance, kama mimi nilikuwa nimewekeza about 400,000 kwa hiyo SACCO. But wakati kampuni ilianza kuyumba kuanguka, ukienda kule unaambiwa kwamba ulisainia huyu mtu, shares zako zinakatwa. Ulisainia huyu, shares zako zinakatwa. Unakuta kwamba hakuna kitu napewa, na bado kama ulikuwa umechukua loan na hujamaliza, instead you balance your shares together with your loan, wanakupeleka kwa CRB.
Maoni yangu ni SACCO ziwe zinaweka kiwango fulani ya pesa kama security. Kama labda umeruhusiwa kufungua SACCO, pawe na security yenye wanaweka. Ati just in case hii SACCO ianguke, there is security that can cater for this watu wenye wamewekeza nao. Ili tunaacha hii upotovu wa pesa, umewekeza alafu mnasikia imefungwa na ndio hiyo hakuna kufuatwa. Sasa security wae wanaweka kabla ya kupewa barua ya kuanzisha. Siruhusu kila mtu awe anafungua SACCO. I think if the limit was below, waongezee limit. To limit wenye kufungua SACCO ili tuwe na at least watu serious. Jua kieka kiwango iwe juu, ni watu wachache sana watawezana. No, tukiwekewa kiwango chini, kila mtu atakuwa mwenye SACCO, na nafikiri hiyo ndio fakta moja ambayo inafanya kila mtu afikirie anaweza, anafungua, analemewa hapo mbeleni. Kwa hivyo serikali ilimit kiwango iwe juu, tuwe na few SACCOs na at least SACCO zenye zinaeleweka.
Kwa sawa mimi naona unafanya kazi, lakini asante kuongea na runinga MBCI. So leo tunauliza ni changamoto gani ambazo wewe kama mwekezaji wa SACCO unapitia, na hizo changamoto ambazo unapitia, ungepewa nafasi ya kupendekeza sheria ambazo zinaweza kukuzuia, zinaweza kukuprotect wewe kama mwekezaji wa SACCO, unaweza kupendekeza sheria ipi?
Kenya mimi ningesema ni wakati wenye mtu anawekeza na SACCO, na kwa mfano nimebeba pesa zao ili ninunue shamba, si ni kweli? Haya, inafika mahali nimelemewa na kulipa hizo pesa, wale watu wa SACCO wanakuja, manake nimeshindwa na kulipa, wanabeba hizo, wanasavia shamba, wanaona upande wao pesa zao zimerudi, na mimi ilhali nimeshindwa na kutoa hizo pesa, wanauza bei yao, mimi mwekezaji napotelea. Unaona, kwa sababu yenye nilikuwa nimesave yote itakuwa imeenda ni kwa ajili ya ile hali ya kushindwa. Sasa Kenya mimi ningesema ni serikali yetu iweke sheria ya kwamba hawa wenye SACCO wana balance ili nisipotelee. Unaona, nisipotelee.
Mimi maoni yangu naweza sema ya kwamba ni kweli SACCO zimefinyilia wananchi wengi, lakini ya kwanza niseme wananchi hufinyiliwa kwa sababu ya kutokuwa na elimu kuhusiana na SACCO yenyewe. So unakuta labda kwenye sheria za sako kuna mambo mengi ambayo yamejificha ndani ambayo hayaonekanagi, lakini sasa wakati umeshaingia kwa sako yenyewe ndio hasa yanaanza kuchipuka. So mimi langu ningependekeza kwanza mtu akitaka kuingia kwenye sako awe na full information ya venye sako ina operate, mambo ambayo yenye yako ndani ya ile sako, ili kusije kuwa na shida baadaye. Jambo lingine ningesema ni kwamba serikali inafaa iweke sheria ambazo zinaweza kurestrict sako kutokana na kufinyiria wananchi. Kwa mfano, unajua wakati unaenda kuweka pesa umeenda umeweka, lakini hauko sure kama utazipata ama kutaenda namna gani. So serikali inafaa kuja na mpango ya venye inaweza assure wananchi kuwa pesa zao ziko safe. Sijui kama umenipata. So serikali kiweza kuja na hiyo mikakati inaweza kuwa vizuri sana, ili mwananchi ya feel ako protected. Na kwa mfano kama hawa watu hupata pesa yao na shida mingi sana. Tunaona hizi gari zote zimerara hapa hivi, huwa wanapata na pesa zao na shida mingi sana, na zile pesa unapata hazitoshi. Okay, mtu kupata pesa ya kusave ni kujifinya na jifinya sana, na wengi wa hawa wananchi hawanaga information. So na sana mtu akienda kuweka pesa kwa sako, aim yake inakuwaga loan, anakuwa ameona loan. So wengi hao hata waikagi pesa kwa sababu ati wanataka kuweka, ni kwa sababu mtu tu anataka afikishe limit ili apewe loan, na hapo ndipo mambo huwa inachemka kidogo.
Naam, Paul Kagi pamoja na Mangicho Mola, kama mlivyosikia maoni ya Wakenya kuhusu sheria ambazo zinafaa kuhakiki ili kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba umedhibiti vyama vya kuwekeza humu nchini almaarufu sako. Na baadhi ya Wakenya wameweza kulalama kutokuwepo na mikakati maalum ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba vyama hivyo vya kuwekeza vimeweza kudhibitiwa humu nchini Kenya. Kumbuka kuna ambao tayari wameweza kupoteza rasilimali zao wakati wamekuwa wakiweza kuwekeza katika vyama hivyo, na kuna wale ambao vile wametoa mwito kwa serikali ili kuweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila jambo na sheria ambazo zinapangwa vinawekwa visawasawa ili kuhakikisha kwamba kila jambo iko sawasawa. Kutoka hapa maeneo ya mitaani, mimi ni wako Silas Choviningo.
Alright. Naona mmesikia vile wananchi wanasema kule mashinani.
Yes.
Na najua Madam Lois utatuambia vile ambavyo umepick talk from there. But kile ambacho nataka kwanza nizungumzie, as you tell us what you have picked, ni hii story ya kuchotwa. Kwa sababu ni kama imeficha sana hapa. Watu wanakuja, wanabeba mali yako yote, and then wakibeba unapoteza zile pesa ziko katika sako. So kuna maswali mengi ambao watu wanauliza kuhusu mambo ya kuchotwa. Ni kama hakuna sheria, ni kama hakuna kanuni, ni kama hakuna mpangilio. You can answer that and then you can tell us what you have picked from the rest of the people.
Thank you. I think the bottom line there, I think is lack of information.
Yes.
It's really lacking. And I would say when you are in a circle, the management of that circle, there is one principle that is circles operate on, and that is continuous education to the members.
Okay.
You see, when you form a circle and you don't educate members so that they understand the policies that you have and how the circle is run, or what is you are required when you are a member, and when it comes to borrowing, what are you required to do? And if you are not able to pay, what will happen to you?
So this is a strict obligation of the management to do?
Yes, they are supposed to have a continuous education to the members.
Sure.
And as the circle continues to grow, you keep coming with new things. How will your customers know, or your members, unless you keep educating them? This is what we have. For example, if you can, many circles start by lending and having security as guarantors. Members guarantee each other. But in future, when the circle grows, the circle can think of having other securities like land, motor logbooks. And when you come up with that, You need to educate your members before you start using that, so that they understand. If I want a loan and I don't have guarantors, I can use my...
And just on that, Madam
Yes,
Lois,
yes.
so is it the sole discretion of the management even to come up with those policies, maybe which will subsequently translate into the laws?
Lending policy, it is made up by the management of the SACCO. When you form a SACCO, you elect the board the management.
Okay.
That is the committee that is running on behalf of the members. So how do you run the SACCO? So you have to come up with these policies. And the same policies...
What if members think or suggest that maybe those policies or those proposals that the management has come up with are not conducive for them, are not convenient for them?
And that is what I was saying. When the management comes with those policies, they call the members, we call them education to members days.
Okay.
You call them, you go through it. Where they feel it's not good for them, then they also propose. Then you agree. So wherever you all agree is what you work with. Even the bylaws members have to approve them. Yes, you cannot just make bylaws and members don't know what is entailed.
Correct.
So you make your bylaws, call your members, you go through one by one. Where they feel it's not right, they'll suggest. And then they approve the bylaws.
Yeah, the issue of,
And you see, when they approve the policies and these bylaws, all the time the management should work within. And therefore, even the members understand the policies and the bylaws.
So still on what
that is why I was saying the bottom line is lack of information and education.
So what does the law stipulate in relation to what Kagi was talking about, maybe where a particular member has in one way or another maybe failed to pay the to pay the loan that they took from a SACCO? For
example, if a member fails to pay the loan, okay, the loan has to be secured before you release the money to the member. Because you cannot give, the money you're giving out, these are members' funds.
Yes.
And the member maybe has saved, for example, 100,000, and the SACCO has agreed to be giving 3 times. So if you are given 3 times, the other 2 times is from where? You have 100, but you have gotten 3. So the 200 belongs to these other members, and it has to be secured. So either you have agreed other members can guarantee you, or you have a security. So when it comes, the member has failed to pay the loan. Within the policies that you have, for example, you have agreed when the member fails to pay, the guarantor, you follow up the guarantor. You first give a notice to that loanee. You don't just rush to the member that you are not paying the loan. You need to contact the member in writing. Maybe give, for example, 14 days. The member should respond.
Okay.
If the member does not respond, the member doesn't come to the office.
Are there some reasons the member can give that are justifiable?
That they are not.
For their failure to pay?
But you see, they have to come and explain themselves. Yes, sure. And it has to be also in the writing.
Okay.
So that, when the guarantor has guaranteed for a given period. So if you stay for example, 5 months, you have not paid, will that guarantor be liable within the 5 months not paid?
A situation whereby the client refuses to be accessed, like the previous case that we saw in the Vox Pop, whereby the SACCO client is not accessible in phones and physical.
And that is why I'm saying the bottom line is lack of information. That member is not well informed. Yes, that is the bottom line. Because if you understand how your SACCO operates, you are free to go to the office and even write and tell them, I'm going through this. Then the SACCO will also respond and tell you you are given a given time to organize yourself. Or there are also other SACCOs where they have, we call them restructuring of loans. You see, when you are not able to pay within the period you are given, you can come and you agree in the office that how much are you able to pay, if not the figure that you are required there before. So we call it a restructuring. It can be restructured so that you pay within what you are able. So this is something that members need to understand, and when they understand their policies, they will not even fear coming to your office and share what they are going through. So that's why I'm saying the issue is lack of
information.
Yes.
On the same Mangicho, there is that person who is lacking information.
Yes.
But also there is a client who is just having a hidden agenda, that he or she wants to get money to be able to do his project or to sort out his problems. But back in his or her mind, knows that she or he is going to default.
Yes.
What happens to such kind of a member?
Such kind of a thing, when it happens, the member has disappeared nowhere. You see, the member, the loan, who guaranteed the loan? See, they are the guarantors. So these guarantors are the ones the circle follows.
Okay.
And if you become a guarantor, you don't guarantee somebody you don't know. Is it? Because if I know you and I know what you are doing and where you are, when you fail to pay, I will be able to know where you are. But because of lack of information, many people just sign because that member needs a loan, or you sign for me, I sign for you, but you don't know this person very well, or where the person is situated. Yes.
Maybe the other thing that I also picked, Kagi, Madam Loisa wanted you to also help us understand, even from the interviews that our reporter did, is the concern and the fear of quite a number of Kenyans on the instability, or what happens when a circle collapses. I would want to say this. If a member wants to join us a particular circle, can you also be able to find out, is that circle licensed? Okay.
Because if all those circles that are licensed and the regulator has been regulating on monthly basis, that is the right circle to join.
So as a member, it is your right.
Yeah,
to
you
go and
need
find out.
You need to find out.
Those documents.
Yes, and information is in that circle. Yes. So you can be able to know. You can also Google and know circles that have been licensed. If you are a circle that you are interested, you check whether it's there. Yes.
Okay.
That is how you know the best circle to join. And if you want to make yours, you start from the ground and come up with yours, with the people of like minds.
There is
know each other.
Yeah, the issue of consent.
Yes.
Because I have observed even from the public.
Yes.
There are many people, because I believe when you are being loaned by a circle, there must be a consent that you sign, or rather, when you're joining a certain circle, there must be a consent that you have gone through the regulations, the rules of the circle. It seems many people don't read those regulations.
That's the problem.
But they sign the consent because I have a guy saying that no, I came, I borrowed money, I didn't know that they need other guarantors along the way when I want to now get my first loan. And it's obvious when you are getting a loan, you must get a guarantor in any financial institution.
Of course, you cannot get free money just like unless your savings are far much above what you want. Yes.
But there seems to be a challenge with people properly consenting on the circle rules. Yeah.
The problem is what I'm saying, and I've experienced where I was working. When you organize these educations, you'll find not every member who comes. So if you fail to come, there is a lot that you don't know.
You miss a lot.
You miss a lot. And the bottom line is what I'm saying is lack of that information. And the circle should be very careful to keep training the members all the time. So that, you keep coming with the new things.
Yes.
How will the members know? Unless you contact them and call them, you share, and then they understand.
Yes.
Yes. And then from there, when a member is joining a circle that is running, The member should be issued with the policies, we should be issued with the bylaws, so that when you go, you read and know what am I going into.
Okay.
Yes.
I was also interested in another part, Kagi, that maybe quite a number of members would also want to know, and maybe Madam Lois, you can also help us whether it is something that is universal or maybe it is specific to different circles when maybe a member wants to pull out.
Okay. Or from the circle?
Yes.
Okay. In so many circles, there is a notice you give. When you join and you want to leave, you give a notice. And many circles, I think it's almost the same. You give 60 days notice in writing. Yes.
Those are 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah.
And after those 2 months, you should be able to get back your money. But the only problem comes
all the money that you had invested,
yes,
that is in terms of savings?
Yes. And if there are other charges that they are there, depending on the circle.
But there could be circles which they can make it very clear that once you've joined, you can never leave.
No, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. There's a principle. In fact, there are 7 principles whereby circles operate on, and they are all same to all circles. And that one that you are referring now, it's circle. It's an open and voluntary membership. Yes. So I cannot join. You tell me I cannot leave. There's nothing like that. So you are free to join and you are free to leave, when you want to leave.
That's a right of a member.
Yes, yes, yes.
The only thing they can do is to persuade you.
No, unless now the member has issues that are holding that member in the circle. For example, if I want to withdraw and I've guaranteed somebody who is servicing the loan and the loan is still above his or her savings, then you have to bring an alternative guarantor so that I can be free. Yes.
On the same?
Yes.
As you are saying that you cannot be denied to leave.
Yes.
What about, how does it happen when maybe you have saved with a circle, the savings,
Yes.
and then you have the shares? Because I hear that, I don't know, but for the savings, you can depart with your savings when you are leaving, but with shares, you can only sell to someone else, a member from that circle. Is that true or false?
Yeah, it's true. And the figures that members hold are different in different circles. They are not the same. All circles, members are required to have shares.
Okay.
Shareholding. You may find, like where I was, the shareholding was 10,000. You'll find others with 30, 50. So when the member is leaving, you leave that money there. That forms the core capital of the circle. And even if you get the refund of the other, we call them deposits.
Okay.
So there's deposit and shares. Shares, you cannot be refunded. So that forms the capital of the circle. But even if you leave, you get back your deposits, you keep earning some dividends on that money.
Yeah, the shares now.
Yes. But if you want it to get it back, unless you get somebody to buy them. But it will also depend. If there is a maximum that circle has set, you cannot have more than a given figure of shares. Yes. Like where I was, we had a maximum of 200,000 if you want to have up to that amount. But that is why, so that it can leave room for anybody within the circle wants to buy more from you, can buy the shares like that. But you are not supposed to be refunded.
On the same?
Yes.
Maybe a member, for some reasons, dies. And he or she has some shares in that circle.
Yes.
What happens?
Do you have a next of kin? Yeah.
There's no way.
Because when you join a circle, it is mandatory that you have to have a nominee or a next of kin. And that person can also join that circle, or maybe sell the shares to somebody else who is a member. Yes.
So they continue operating the same
As
way.
per the regulations, the circle should never have their shares going down. It should always be going down. That is why you either sell or you leave it. Even the person buying your shares, it will still go to add to his shares, not to the deposit.
Right.
Yes.
There's a question Mangicho had asked about the SACCO security. I feel I need to dig deeper.
Okay.
Because what I
On
had
loans.
No,
Okay.
on the collapsing of a SACCO.
Oh, okay.
Because you told us that because of the regulations which are there, the monitoring,
Yes.
the monitoring,
Yes.
it's very hard for a SACCO to collapse. But I believe there are some circumstances which can make a SACCO not to operate. For example, maybe because of the global economic disasters, and SACCO maybe want to close its doors. What happens?
What is causing the closing?
Maybe members are withdrawing, or maybe because SACCO is unable to, or maybe there's a lot of mismanagement within the SACCO.
Unless when it comes to maybe mismanagement, that is always the cause. But when members elect their board, the board or the management of that SACCO, they are supposed to fill forms to indemnify themselves. And the members fix amount that you are put. If, for example, we are in the management, the members in the AGM, they have to fix a figure that you indemnify the management.
Okay.
For example,
What do you mean by that jargon?
Okay. What I mean is, when you look at the share capital of that SACCO, it could be a lot of money. So the members have to fix some figures on every board member, that in case you mismanage or manage this SACCO, you are liable to that figure. So that members don't lose their money. So when you are in that management, you should be very careful to run the SACCO in the right way.
Okay.
And you are running this SACCO on behalf of the members. So there is your money, there is somebody else's money. So it is good to take care of it.
Yeah.
Because if you mismanage, you are also liable.
There's a time I hear, I don't know whether it is done with the banks. I hear that there's a time when banks are being put under receivership. Does it happen?
That is when it is collapsing. Yes. And that is why you find when people come together and they want to maybe to start a bank, the central bank, there is a requirement that you need, a threshold you are required to meet. And that is why inakuwa ngumu kufungua bank. Yes. If you don't meet that, you can't.
It's very high.
Yes, because it's quite high. Yes.
What about when you come to the issue of SACCOs and interest? Yes.
Interest on?
Yeah.
On?
Maybe the interest that maybe they put for members when they take loans. Are they also governed by some particular laws?
No.
Or it is specific to particular SACCOs?
It is specifically for your SACCO.
Okay.
Yes.
You mean there is no way a government puts a caveat
for
on
loans?
On interest?
Loans in SACCOs, no.
Unless
they have done it now that I'm not there, it is not there. The SACCOs make their own, they come up with their rates. Yes.
And that is something also that as a member you need to be aware of.
Yes. And that is why I say these are people who came together. We form a pool where we put our money so that we can borrow at a reasonable rate. So the government cannot come and tell you you should pay at this rate. This is your own. Yes, SACCO. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, just to remind you that today we are talking about the SACCO laws, and if you want to ask a question, we are having Madam Lois Methu, who is a SACCO and cooperative consultant. You can get her insight on various issues that regarding to SACCO as you following us today. Our SMS number is 23814. 0721 105 105 is another WhatsApp number. 0721 105 105. You can send your text via this number or our usual ordinary SMS number 23814. And we are asking you, what SACCO laws do you feel they need to be amended? What SACCO laws do you need do you feel needs to be amended? 23814 and 0721 105 105. I don't know, Madam Methu,
Yes.
Regarding to the government side, is there a time when the government feels that it can save its money with the SACCOs, or can the government itself open a SACCO?
Come again?
Sometimes you find the government can save money with the bank, maybe central bank or other banks. I don't know whether in your profession you ever came across whereby the government also is saving its money with SACCOs, or the government has power and laws allow it to be able to open a SACCO.
No, there's nothing like that. You see, when you form a SACCO, in your bylaws you have stated your composition of your members comes from where? Yes. And these are people who came together with their like minds. But you cannot have the government being a member of your SACCO. No, I've never seen, and I don't think it's allowed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because these are people just coming together. They have common economic problems. They come together to form the SACCO. And you also say our membership itatoka kwa various people. For example, SACCO kama yenu hapa.
Okay.
You have the composition.
Yes.
Ingetaka kuwa na members from which area. Yes.
Wow.
And even you put the minimum contribution monthly.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And by the way, when you are doing that, when you are showing those proposals, so you're taking them to that body so that you can actually be mandated. Does it mean that all those, or you can be in a position maybe to have already started operating? Yes. Or you have first of all to make sure that you've been licensed.
Or when you are starting a SACCO, what happens? At least they have given kulingana na sheria, the minimum number you can register as SACCO is 10.
Okay.
10 people.
10 members.
Whereby, see, you also you look for each other and say, this is what we are thinking, and can we form a SACCO? So the least number you can register is 10. And when you come together and you want now to start, there is a letter you write to the Commissioner of Cooperative. It's called an intent letter to start a SACCO. So in that intent letter, you give out your vision, you give out your business plan, you also give out your products that you give out to the members. You also propose 3 names of that SACCO. Then you forward that letter to the Commissioner of Cooperative. When it is approved and you get a name, then you go ahead.
You're good to go.
You're good to go. Then you start now preparing your bylaws and all this, plus your name that they have approved. Then you forward the bylaws to the Commissioner for approval.
We want to take another short break.
Yes.
But this time around, we will be bringing you what we call the landmark ruling. When we come back, there's a question we are asking. What SACCO laws you feel that you need to be amended? Maybe in line of your duty, the time that you are there, you can be able to identify to us some of the loopholes that you feel need to be sealed when it comes to SACCO operations when you come back. But for now, we have a landmark ruling, and this landmark ruling is regarding to the United Kingdom, whereby they have passed laws to be able to send the ice lamps in that country to Rwanda. Maybe wondering how. Can you pick people from UK, send them to Rwanda? But it's a law which has been passed by UK government, and therefore we have a short presentation on that kind of a landmark ruling. Watch this.
Welcome to today's landmark ruling. The UK passes bill to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda. The British government's plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda have finally been approved by Parliament, ending a month-long deadlock between the lower and upper chambers over the legality of the policy. Under the new law, any asylum seeker who arrives illegally in Britain will be sent to Rwanda. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has pledged that the first flight will leave as early as July, promising a wave of deportations come what may over the summer in the country's procedures for processing asylum claims. There was, the court noted, a surprisingly high rate of rejection of asylum claims from countries in non-conflict zones. It is also noted Rwanda's existing track of not honoring non-return principles in a previous deal with Israel. Between 2013 and 2018, the East African country had deported thousands of refugees sent under Israel's voluntary departure scheme.
In addition, UNHCR has produced evidence of a substantial number of cases of refoulement of asylum seekers by the Rwandan authorities, including during the period since a Memorandum of Understanding with the UK was concluded.
How many people will be deported or exactly when the flights would occur.
All right, and that is it. Mangicho, there has been a push and pull in UK regarding to many Islams who have been coming to UK from the neighboring countries. And for the last 1 month, there has been, in fact 2 years, there has been a lot of pressure to be able to pass laws to manage those Islams. And finally, they came up with a very interesting law. I have never heard about it before, whereby they decided anybody who comes to UK and they are not members of UK, they're from other countries and they're coming legally, they will be deported to Rwanda.
Those who are going there illegally?
Yes.
Yes, they'll be deported to Rwanda.
Yes, it's a very interesting law whereby maybe you came from New Zealand or other countries, you went to UK, they found that you are illegal migrants. You'll be taken. You'll be taken to plane. You'll find yourself in Rwanda. That's where you're going to live. So the question is,
why Rwanda?
Why Rwanda? So there has been an agreement between the Kagame and the UK government on how it is going to be done. But the question which has been there is Rwanda doesn't have a good credit when it comes to handling immigrants within the East African region. That's the big question now.
That's a big question.
But we're also monitoring on how they are going to do it. It is for the first time it is being done by the Western countries, and the fear is maybe this one is a test of water. If the UK is going to manage to send those guys to Rwanda, who knows whether US, which has many immigrants, German, they are going to follow suit.
Yeah, that is quite a phenomenon. And just as you said, maybe you're waiting to see.
Yeah.
Maybe looking also maybe at the history of Rwanda in terms of maybe how it has been dealing with these people. You know,
especially the refugees.
The refugees. Okay, and of course the background of Rwanda, especially during the genocide.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see how now it is going actually to be implemented.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to give Madam Lois another chance, maybe as we are closely coming to the close of the program. Maybe.
There was one area, I think maybe Madam Lois can also help us, Kagi, when you're talking about the revocation of a license of a SACCO. How does it go about?
Oh, it happens. You see, when a SACCO is now regulated by the regulator, there are a certain threshold. They call it prudential requirements, whereby they look at the core capital of a SACCO, whereby they give ratios against the asset base. For example, they require a core capital to asset ratio to be at 10% or 10 million.
Okay.
So if the SACCO does not meet that, and others, even there's another one called institutional to asset ratio of 8%. If a SACCO does not meet that, then there will be a problem. Yeah, because those are requirements, and not only those ones, there are quite a number, whereby the SACCO is required to meet that, and that is minimum.
That is minimum.
Yes. So if they are not able to meet that, that is one thing that can cause the SACCO not to get a license. And the licenses are renewed yearly.
Oh.
Yeah, it is yearly because they have to keep monitoring how you are running the SACCO. The other thing that can make that is when you go into business that is illegal.
Yeah.
Yes, that can also cause.
All right.
That. Yes.
Mangicho, I think now you can take us through the legal profiling for today.
Sure. Of course, we have that particular segment where we profile different personalities in the legal sphere or in the legal sector. And today, Kagi, this is the gentleman we want to focus on, Justice Mohammed Ibrahim. Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, of course, is a judge of the Supreme Court of Kenya. And he was actually appointed judge of the Supreme Court of Kenya on 16th June, that is 2011. He is the chairperson of Judiciary Committee on elections following appointment by Chief Justice. That was back in 16th of August 2021. Justice Mohammed Ibrahim was elected on 17th May 2022 to represent Supreme Court as a member of the Judicial Service Commission. Justice Mohammed Ibrahim studied law at the University of Nairobi before entering private service. So he studied law at the University of Nairobi before entering private service. Some other highlights about Justice Mohammed Ibrahim is that he joined the firm of Mes and Warohio Advocates. That was way back in November 1982, after which he was actually admitted to the role of advocate on 11th January 1983. He was among the first from among Kenya's Somali community to be admitted to the bar as an advocate. So he's a pioneer among the Somali community as an advocate. He has helped and contributed a lot in advocating for the rights of minority groups, and he was appointed judge of the High Court on 22nd of May 2003. That is when he was appointed judge of the High Court. That is basically some of the highlights we can collect about Justice Mohammed Ibrahim Kagi.
Yes. And he is very prominent also in the Supreme.
In the Supreme Court?
Yeah, since the Supreme Court was inaugurated, he is very prominent there.
Exactly, giving very, very solid judgments and arguments for those particular judgments.
Yeah.
But one thing that has made me also feel very good is the humble beginning.
Yes.
You can see he's one of the pioneers, advocates from among the Somali community. And actually he has used also his profession and how far he has actually gone to also even help in advocating for the rights of the marginalized community.
Yeah, I think that is one of the credit. Yeah, we have few judges who are on that route, but he has been there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good role model to young legal professions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Very true. Very true.
Yes. Before you give us the legal terminologies today, I want to give Madam Lois maybe 1 minute. To be able to give us your general conclusion on the issue of SACCO.
Yes, and even maybe give an appeal as to why you'd encourage as many Kenyans as possible maybe to join the SACCO too.
Okay, thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, both of you, for having me here. I'm humbled. And I want to encourage the Kenyans that when you join a SACCO, it is your own institution.
Yes.
When you are saving in a SACCO, when at the end of the year, when the SACCO declares these dividends and interest, that money is given again back to you as a member.
Right.
But when you save in the bank, or when you borrow in the bank, that interest goes to the owners of those banks. Why can't you patronize or form your own SACCOs and create wealth in that manner? Yes. So I would want to encourage people to form their SACCOs or join the SACCOs that are doing well, because they are there. And there was a time when the deposit-taking SACCOs also felt that they are being called SACCOs. When you go to Matatu, they are also called SACCOs. So there is no difference. So then there came a time now SACCOs had to add the word deposit-taking in the name.
Oh, so that was basically to differentiate them from these other SACCOs?
Yes, to differentiate themselves from the Matatu SACCOs.
Oh.
So it is good when you want to join a SACCO, find out a SACCO that is doing well, that is licensed, and where you can get the services. Yes. Yes.
Wow. So they just basically have to do the
yes
the obligations.
Yes.
Very well.
And it's also good to understand the SACCO before you join.
Before you join it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But I think I'm also happy because
yes.
the reason why today we are having some stable SACCOs
yes.
is because of the aggressive regulations.
Oh, of course, because now they supervise, they regulate, they advise,
yes.
and then you keep moving with the regulator and then to make that SACCO succeed.
All right.
Yes, I also would want to use this opportunity to tell the people that currently I'm a member of a women's SACCO, which I came up with, and it's called Pivotal Women's SACCO, and I'm the chairperson. Pivotal Women's SACCO. We are here in Nakuru, and we are doing well. We are now 1 year old. Oh. And those who are interested, so long as you are a woman, you are most welcome to join us so that we can move together.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Kagi.
All right.
It's like you are cut out on this.
It seems.
No, but your wives are welcome.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we thank you also for coming along. We have what we call the legal terminology. We teach ourselves on legal terms.
Oh.
So Mangicho is the teacher there.
Yeah, very, very well. Of course, we have that legal terminology that we've prepared for you for today. And this is the word for today, recusal. Recusal. Kagi, we don't have a lawyer. I'm just hoping that I'm pronouncing it the way it is supposed. Recusal. It is a voluntary action by a judge or prosecutor to remove themselves from presiding in a case. Recusals are often based on things like bias, conflict of interest, or prejudice. So that is what we mean when we talk about recusal. It is a voluntary action by a judge or prosecutor to remove themselves from presiding in a case. Recusals are often based on things like bias, conflict of interest, or what we can also call prejudice. Yeah, for example, a state prosecutor may choose to recuse from a proceeding if the case is against their former employer. A state prosecutor may choose to recuse from a proceeding if the case is against their former employer.
And of course, if, for example, I'm having a case and I know that this judge has a common interest there, I can also request the court to push the judge to recuse himself because of conflict of interest, biasness, and that kind of thing.
So actually, even before they are forced,
yes,
they should do it voluntarily. They should recuse themselves.
Of course.
Once they have felt, once they have thought that in this particular case, in a way, I can see some conflict of interest, or I'm going to be biased in the way I give this particular ruling.
Right.
Just recuse themselves, and it is allowed.
So sour.
Yes.
Right. Once again, thank you for coming over.
Welcome.
And we wish you a very blessed day ahead.
Thank you too for having me here.
Thank you.
I'm humbled.
Yes, and my name is Paul Kagi. I'm wishing you a blessed Tuesday. See you tomorrow for the Leadership Wednesday.
Absolutely. Make sure you make a date with us tomorrow for yet another edition of Leadership Wednesday. Until then, have a blessed afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. I'm Mangicho Mwala.